Welcome to Kentucky, the Bluegrass State. We'll journey through time, from early settlements to modern cities, uncovering tales of pioneers and presidents. Kentucky is a tapestry of culture and nature. From its frontier roots to its role in the Civil War, Kentucky has always been central to the nation's story. A state of contrast from the quiet Appalachian Mountains to the Kentucky Derby. Fertile soil shaped its agricultural heritage, including world-renowned horse breeding. Join us as we explore the soul of Kentucky. Kentucky's official motto is "Unbridled Spirit." This phrase captures the essence of the state and its people. We see this spirit reflected in the state's most famous traditions, like the Kentucky Derby. We also see it in the craftsmanship of the state's distillers. You can find it in the small towns scattered across the Commonwealth. As we travel through Kentucky, we will meet the people who carry this unbridled spirit forward. This journey is about connecting with the living soul of Kentucky, defined by its powerful unbridled spirit. Our documentary will follow Kentucky's evolution from its earliest days. We'll explore the lives of the Native American peoples who first called this land home and visit the ancient mounds they built. From there, our story moves into the era of exploration and settlement, led by figures like Daniel Boone, culminating in Kentucky's statehood in 1792. Next, the Civil War. Kentucky's position as a border state placed it in a uniquely difficult situation. Finally, we will trace Kentucky's path through the 20th century and into the modern era, celebrating the cultural contributions that have made Kentucky famous, building a complete picture of its rich and complex history. In the parts that follow this introduction, we will embark on a detailed exploration of Kentucky's most fascinating chapters. We will begin by digging deep into its ancient past, visiting sites like the Wycliffe Mounds, where a prehistoric Native American village once thrived on the banks of the Mississippi River. We will uncover the stories of the Shawnee, Cherokee, and Chickasaw peoples who hunted, farmed, and lived on this land for generations. This first act will set the foundation for everything that follows, showing us that Kentucky's history did not begin with the arrival of pioneers, but stretches back into the mists of time, rich with culture and tradition. Next, we will step into the boots of the frontiersmen. We will journey to Fort Boonesboro and Harrodsburg to understand the daily struggles and triumphs of the first permanent American settlements west of the Allegheny Mountains. We will discuss the complex relationship between the settlers and the native tribes, a story of both cooperation and tragic conflict. This section will bring the frontier era to life, illustrating the raw determination it took to carve a new society out of what was then considered the Wild West. We will see how these early experiences shaped the independent and self-reliant character of Kentuckians for generations to come. Our journey will then guide us through Kentucky's cultural heart. We will visit the birthplace of bluegrass music in Rosine, the home of the legendary Bill Monroe. We will then travel along the famous Kentucky Bourbon Trail, stopping at historic distilleries to learn about the art and science behind America's native spirit. Of course, no tour of Kentucky culture would be complete without a deep dive into its horse country. We will visit the legendary Churchill Downs, home of the Kentucky Derby, and the serene beauty of the Kentucky Horse Park, celebrating the magnificent animals that are so central to the state's identity and economy. Finally, we will showcase the breathtaking natural beauty and vibrant modern life of the state. We will venture underground to explore the vast, mysterious chambers of Mammoth Cave National Park. We will hike through the stunning arches and cliffs of the Red River Gorge, and we will tour the bustling cities of Louisville and Lexington, discovering world-class museums, innovative cuisine, and thriving art scenes. Our goal is to present a comprehensive and inspiring portrait of Kentucky. We invite you to join us as we uncover the hidden gems and celebrate the well-known treasures of this truly remarkable state, the one and only Bluegrass State. Long before pioneers, Kentucky was home to ancient peoples. 12,000 years ago, Paleo Indians ventured into a colder, wilder landscape. They hunted megafauna like mastodons, crafting tools from locust stone. Evidence remains across the state, including Big Bone Lick. As the climate warmed, the Archaic period began. People adapted, developing tools like the atlatl and establishing semi-permanent camps, They learned the land, traded, and established cemeteries. These foundational cultures laid the groundwork for future societies. Around 1000 BC, we enter the woodland period. This era is defined by the rise of the mound builders. These cultures, most notably the Adena and Hopewell, shared a tradition of constructing large earthen mounds. Many served as burial mounds with grave goods, hinting at spiritual beliefs. The Adena people were among the first great architects of ancient Kentucky. Following the Adena, the Hopewell culture emerged, bringing elaborate mound building and trade. Hopewellian mounds were often larger and more complex. The Wycliffe Mound State Historic Site showcases the Mississippian culture. These earthworks are the silent monuments of Kentucky's first civilizations. By the time the first European explorers began to probe the edges of Kentucky, the era of the great mound builder cultures had passed. The land was now the ancestral hunting ground and territory of more recent Native American tribes. Though no major permanent villages existed within Kentucky's modern borders, the land was far from empty. It was a vital and fiercely contested resource, a rich hunting preserve used by powerful tribes. This land was known to many as a dark and bloody ground, not because it was uninhabited, but because it was a crossroads where many tribes converged and clashed. The Shawnee people, an Algonquian-speaking tribe, considered the lands north of the Ohio River their home, but claimed all of Kentucky as their exclusive hunting grounds. They were a powerful and mobile people with a deep connection to this territory. They would make long hunting expeditions into the bluegrass region to harvest bison, elk, and deer. The name Kentucky itself derives from an Iroquoian word, Kentucky, meaning meadowland or prairie, describing the vast grassy openings in the forests maintained by native burning practices and grazed by massive herds of bison. To the south and east, in the rugged Appalachian Mountains, lay the territory of the Cherokee. This powerful nation also laid claim to southern and eastern Kentucky, using its mountains and valleys for hunting and travel. The famous Warrior's Path cut through the Cumberland Gap, serving as a vital artery for Cherokee war parties traveling north. The overlapping claims of the Shawnee, Cherokee, and Chickasaw meant Kentucky was a land of shared use, but also persistent tension and conflict. These tribes left an indelible mark on the land with a network of trails, place names, and a legacy of resistance. Their knowledge of the land was unparalleled. They understood its ecosystems, resources, and sacred places. As American pioneers began to push across the mountains, they did not enter a vacant wilderness, but an ancient homeland shaped and utilized for centuries. The story of these tribes is crucial to Kentucky's history, a story of people fighting to protect their ancestral rights to a land they knew as their own. In the mid-18th century, adventurous explorers and long hunters, drawn by tales of wildlife, began venturing into Kentucky. They mapped the terrain, passing through the Cumberland Gap. Their reports of immense forests and abundant game ignited the imaginations of colonists. Long hunters undertook months-long expeditions, harvesting hides and pelts. Figures like Simon Kenton became famous, developing knowledge of Kentucky's geography. These perilous expeditions faced harsh weather and the threat of Native Americans. Daniel Boone, a symbol of the frontier spirit, blazed the Wilderness Road in 1775. This marked a transformative era for Kentucky. The stories painted a picture of a new Eden. This fueled a westward migration, but the Appalachian Mountains stood as a barrier. A path was needed, the Wilderness Road, carved by Daniel Boone. In 1775, Boone led axemen to clear a trail, following bison and Native American paths. The route was treacherous through the Cumberland Gap. They faced harsh weather and attacks from tribes like the Shawnee. They reached the Kentucky River, having blazed a lifeline. The Wilderness Road symbolized American expansion. Thousands traveled this path seeking opportunity and freedom. The Wilderness Road pumped lifeblood into the American frontier. Upon reaching the Kentucky River in April 1775, Daniel Boone's party established a defensible settlement. They began clearing land and constructing Fort Boonesboro. The fort was a classic frontier stockade designed for defense. Inside, a central courtyard served as a communal space. Life within Fort Boonesboro was a daily struggle. Men hunted, while women gardened and cared for the children. The fort served as a crucial anchor for American settlement in Kentucky. The Great Siege of 1778 saw Boone defend the fort against Shawnee warriors, securing the American claim to the frontier. The settlement of Kentucky was not peaceful. The land was the ancestral hunting ground of Native American tribes. These tribes did not give up their land willingly, leading to brutal conflict. The encroaching settlements were a direct threat to their way of life. It was a bitter guerrilla conflict of raids and ambushes. Settlers organized militias and launched retaliatory raids. The fighting climaxed in 1782 at the Battle of Blue Licks, a devastating defeat for the Kentucky militia. It hardened their resolve to secure Kentucky, leading them to seek statehood. As the American Revolution closed, Kentucky settlers felt isolated from Virginia's government. They believed Richmond was too distant to understand their problems, like Native American attacks. 10 conventions were held in Danville to debate the path forward. Isaac Shelby and others argued Kentuckians knew best for Kentucky. On June 1, 1792, Kentucky became the 15th state. Shelby was elected governor. Kentucky was a proud member of the United States, ready to shape its destiny. With statehood, Kentucky focused on building a lasting society. Lexington grew into the state's most important town, becoming known as the Athens of the West. Louisville became a critical port for river trade. Towns like Bardstown, Danville, and Frankfort also grew. This period saw the creation of a new Kentucky identity, fiercely independent and deeply attached to their land. Farmers grew corn, tobacco, and hemp and began to breed fine livestock. They distilled a unique whiskey, evolving into the signature industry of bourbon. However, this new society was built upon slavery, a contradiction that would become a source of deep division. In the 1850s, Kentucky was in a perilous position, geographically and culturally tied to both the North and South. This created division within the state. Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis were both born in Kentucky, embodying this conflict. Kentucky declared neutrality in 1861, hoping to mediate. Coveted by both sides for its strategic location and control of the Ohio River, this neutrality was fragile. It was only a matter of time before war ignited, forcing Kentucky to divide its soul. The official declaration of neutrality could not contain the powerful currents of loyalty that coursed through Kentucky's communities and families. When the fighting inevitably came to the state, the Civil War became a profoundly personal and intimate tragedy. It was a conflict that pitted neighbor against neighbor, cousin against cousin, and in the most heartbreaking instances, brother against brother. Friendships that had lasted a lifetime were shattered by political allegiance. Sunday church services became tense affairs as congregations were split down the middle, with prayers being offered for opposing causes under the very same roof. The war was not a distant event, it was a daily painful presence. Families were torn asunder by the choice of which army to join. One of the most famous examples was the family of Kentucky Senator John J. Crittenden. One of his sons became a general in the Union Army, while another became a general in the Confederate Army. This was not an isolated case. Across the state, fathers and sons found themselves on opposite sides of the battlefield, wearing different uniforms but sharing the same last name. The letters written home from this period are filled with anguish, as soldiers wrestled with the knowledge that they might face their own kin in the heat of battle, a truly horrifying prospect. The social fabric of the bluegrass state, once woven with threads of shared heritage and community, began to unravel completely. Towns became hotbeds of suspicion and animosity. A person's perceived loyalty could affect their business, their social standing, and their personal safety. Women on the home front played crucial roles managing farms and businesses, but they were also divided, forming 8 societies for their respective sides and sometimes acting as spies. The conflict created deep and lasting wounds within communities, wounds that would fester for generations long after the last shot was fired, leaving behind a legacy of bitterness and mistrust. Ultimately, more Kentuckians would fight for the Union than for the Confederacy, with estimates suggesting around 100,000 men joined the federal armies, while approximately 40,000 volunteered for the Southern cause. This included nearly 25,000 African American men from Kentucky who joined the United States colored troops, bravely fighting for the Union and for their own freedom. The state's internal division was a microcosm of the national struggle, a brutal civil war fought not just on battlefields but also across dinner tables and in the hearts of its people, forever changing the character and memory of the Commonwealth. Kentucky's fragile neutrality was shattered in September 1861 when Confederate forces under General Leonidas Polk occupied the town of Columbus, a strategic location on the Mississippi River. The Union Army immediately responded by moving troops into Paducah under the command of Ulysses S. Grant. The state legislature, outraged by the Confederate invasion, formally requested Union assistance and abandoned its neutral stance. For the next year, Kentucky became a key battleground as both armies maneuvered for control. This struggle reached its bloody climax in the fall of 1862 during the Confederate Heartland Offensive, a bold campaign to reclaim the state for the South. The campaign culminated on October 8, 1862, just outside the small crossroads town of Perryville. Here, the Confederate Army of Mississippi, led by General Braxton Bragg, clashed with the Union Army of the Ohio, commanded by General Don Carlos Buell. What followed was the largest and bloodiest battle ever fought on Kentucky soil. In a strange twist of fate, an acoustic shadow prevented General Buell, whose headquarters were just a few miles away, from hearing the sounds of the intense fighting for several hours. This left a single Union corps to bear the brunt of the Confederate assault for most of the afternoon, fighting desperately against overwhelming odds. The fighting at Perryville was savage and chaotic, waged across rolling hills and dry creek beds as soldiers desperately searched for water in a severe drought. For hours, the battle raged with brutal intensity, with positions taken, lost, and retaken through furious charges and countercharges. The fields were strewn with the dead and wounded. The Confederates achieved a tactical victory on the battlefield, driving the Union forces back over a mile. However, as Union reinforcements finally began to arrive late in the day, General Bragg realized his smaller army was now outnumbered and in a perilous position, far from its supply bases. That night, under the cover of darkness, Bragg made the difficult decision to withdraw his army from Kentucky, retreating back through the Cumberland Gap into Tennessee. While the Confederates had won the day's fight, their strategic campaign had failed. They would never again mount such a major offensive into the Bluegrass State. The Battle of Perryville, though horrifically bloody with over 7,600 casualties in a single day, proved to be the decisive turning point of the war in Kentucky. It secured the state for the Union for the remainder of the conflict and marked the high watermark of the Confederacy in the Western theater of the war. After Perryville, Kentucky's war changed. Large battles faded, but chaos grew. Guerrilla bands, some Confederate, some Union, many just criminal, roamed the countryside, looting, burning, and settling old scores. Civilians were caught in the crossfire. No one was safe. Violence blurred all lines. Union authorities imposed martial law, but harsh crackdowns only deepened resentment and unrest. The cycle of violence left scars on the land and in the hearts of Kentuckians. This lawless era shaped Kentucky's future, sowing division and mistrust that lingered long after the war. The Civil War shattered slavery in Kentucky, but not overnight. Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation didn't apply here, so slavery lingered until the 13th Amendment in 1865. Thousands of enslaved people seized freedom, joining the Union cause and building new lives despite fierce resistance. Reconstruction brought turmoil. Many white Kentuckians clung to Confederate identity, fueling backlash and violence. African Americans built communities, churches, and schools, forging a new future against the odds. Kentucky's economy shifted, politics changed, but the wounds of war and emancipation ran deep. Out of fire and division, a new Kentucky emerged, forever changed, still struggling toward equality. In Kentucky's hills, a new sound was born, bluegrass. Bill Monroe of Rosine blended Scots-Irish fiddle, church hymns, and blues into something electrifying. The Bluegrass Boys set the standard: mandolin, banjo, fiddle, guitar, bass, each taking solos, pushing musical limits. Bluegrass told stories of rural life, love, and loss, echoing Kentucky's spirit. From the Grand Ole Opry to small-town festivals, Monroe's legacy thrives. Visit Rosine to see where it all began. Bluegrass is Kentucky's living soundtrack, A tradition passed down, vibrant as ever, bourbon is Kentucky's spirit, born from fertile soil, limestone water, and pioneer ingenuity. Early settlers distilled surplus corn, aging whiskey in charred oak barrels, an accidental stroke of genius. Bourbon County gave the drink its name. The world soon craved that old bourbon whiskey. Charring barrels and Kentucky seasons created bourbon's signature flavor and color. By law, bourbon must be mostly corn, aged in new charred oak, and made to strict standards. Today, Kentucky produces 95% of the world's bourbon. Tour the Bourbon Trail to taste history. Bourbon is more than a drink, it's Kentucky heritage in a glass. Kentucky and horses are inseparable. Settlers found the bluegrass region perfect for raising strong, fast thoroughbreds thanks to rich soil and limestone pastures. Lexington became the horse capital, with legendary farms and a culture of meticulous breeding. The industry draws top trainers, veterinarians, and global buyers to iconic auctions and farms. The Kentucky Horse Park celebrates this legacy, showcasing breeds and history. Beyond racing, Kentucky's love for horses includes saddlebreds, standardbreds, and more. To see Kentucky's rolling hills is to witness a living masterpiece crafted by passion for the horse. The Kentucky Derby is more than a race, it's a global spectacle. On the first Saturday in May, Churchill Downs hosts the Run for the Roses, steeped in tradition and pageantry. The Derby's 2 minutes crown legends and unite fans in celebration from mint juleps to my old Kentucky home. It's the first leg of the Triple Crown with a history of unforgettable champions. The Derby Festival fills Louisville with parades, fireworks, and community pride. The Derby is Kentucky's heart, showcasing its spirit, hospitality, and love for the sport of kings. Beyond the grand spectacles of bourbon and horse racing, the heart of Kentucky's culture beats strong in its diverse arts, crafts, and community festivals. This is a state where tradition is not just preserved in museums, but is actively practiced and passed down through generations. In the Appalachian Mountains of eastern Kentucky, a rich heritage of craftsmanship has been nurtured by the region's relative isolation. Here, artisans create beautiful and functional objects using skills honed over centuries. You can find master woodworkers, basket weavers, quilters, and potters whose work reflects a deep connection to the land and a proud sense of self-reliance. Centers like the Kentucky Artisan Center at Berea and the Kentucky Folk Art Center in Moorhead serve as vital hubs for these traditions. They provide a place for artists to display and sell their work, ensuring that these valuable skills can provide a livelihood and continue to flourish. Berea itself is a unique town, renowned for its vibrant arts community and Berea College, where students work in craft programs to help pay for their tuition. This creates a living link between education, work, and the preservation of Appalachian culture. The intricate patterns of a hand-stitched quilt or the smooth finish of a hand-carved bowl tell a story of patience, skill, and cultural pride. This creative spirit finds expression in countless festivals held in towns big and small throughout the year. Every community seems to have its own unique celebration, often centered around local history, a particular crop, or a musical tradition. There is the Marion County Country Ham Days, a festival dedicated to the state's famous salt-cured ham, or the International Barbecue Festival in Owensboro, which showcases Kentucky's distinctive style of barbecue. These events are the lifeblood of small-town Kentucky, bringing people together for food, music, parades, and a shared celebration of their local identity and heritage. They are a display of community spirit at its finest. From the dramatic outdoor retelling of a pioneer story in the Stephen Foster Story musical in Bardstown, to the modern art installations at the 21C Museum Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky's cultural landscape is a rich and varied tapestry. It is a place where the old and the new coexist and often enrich one another. The enduring traditions of folk art and music provide a strong foundation upon which new forms of creative expression can be built. This vibrant cultural life is the true heart of the bluegrass, a testament to the creativity, resilience, and community spirit of the people who call this remarkable state home. Beneath Kentucky's rolling hills lies Mammoth Cave National Park, the longest known cave system on Earth. With over 400 miles mapped, its true extent is unknown. Descending into Mammoth Cave is like entering another realm, For millennia, Native Americans explored its passages. Later, enslaved African Americans mined saltpeter here, becoming knowledgeable guides. Stephen Bishop, a legendary guide, mapped vast sections. Today, a UNESCO site, Mammoth Cave offers diverse tours. Explore bizarre formations and unique creatures adapted to perpetual darkness. Mammoth Cave is a hidden kingdom waiting to be explored. Nestled within the sprawling Daniel Boone National Forest in eastern Kentucky is a landscape that feels almost prehistoric, a rugged and breathtakingly beautiful canyon system known as the Red River Gorge. Often referred to simply as the Red, this area is a paradise for hikers, rock climbers, and nature lovers. It is defined by its sheer sandstone cliffs, its lush, deep forests, and an incredible concentration of natural stone arches, more than 100 in total. The Red River has patiently carved this spectacular gorge over eons, creating a dramatic and awe-inspiring environment that stands in stark contrast to the gentle rolling hills of the Bluegrass region. The best way to experience the gorge is on foot, exploring the extensive network of trails that wind through the canyons and up to stunning clifftop vistas. A hike to see the majestic Grace Arch, a massive sandstone span that soars high above the forest floor, is an unforgettable experience. Another iconic trail leads to Natural Bridge, a spectacular arch that you can walk across, offering panoramic views of the surrounding mountains. The trails range from gentle riverside strolls to strenuous climbs that reward the determined hiker with breathtaking overlooks. Each path offers a new perspective on the raw, untamed beauty of this treasured landscape. For thrill seekers, the Red River Gorge is a world-renowned destination for rock climbing. The solid, pocketed sandstone cliffs offer thousands of established climbing routes, attracting climbers from across the globe. The area is famous for its challenging sport climbs and steep, overhanging walls that test the skill and strength of even the most experienced athletes. Whether you are a climber scaling a sheer rock face or a kayaker paddling the gentle currents of the Red River, the gorge provides a spectacular natural playground. It is a place that invites adventure and challenges you to connect with the wilder side of Kentucky's diverse geography. Beyond its recreational appeal, the Red River Gorge is also a designated National Geological Area and National Natural Landmark, recognized for its unique geological formations and its rich biodiversity. The deep, shaded ravines and protected valleys are home to a remarkable variety of plant species, some of which are rare and found nowhere else. The area's rock shelters also contain important archaeological sites with evidence of human habitation stretching back thousands of years. The Red River Gorge is a true Kentucky treasure, a place where stunning natural beauty, thrilling adventure, and deep history converge in a truly spectacular fashion. Beyond the headline attractions of Mammoth Cave and the Red River Gorge, Kentucky's natural beauty really unfolds along its scenic byways and within its many state parks and natural sanctuaries. These lesser-known gems offer a quieter, more intimate way to experience the state's diverse landscapes. Driving the Duncanheim Scenic Byway near Bowling Green takes you through the very landscapes that inspired the famous travel writer, past rolling farmlands, historic sites, and charming small towns. These routes encourage you to slow down, pull over at a scenic overlook, and truly appreciate the subtle beauty of the Kentucky countryside, a landscape rich with pastoral charm. One of the state's most significant natural features is the Cumberland Gap National Historical Park, a place of immense historical and natural importance. This famous break in the Appalachian Mountains was the gateway to the West for hundreds of thousands of pioneers traveling the Wilderness Road. Today, visitors can hike to the Pinnacle Overlook, where you can stand in one spot and see Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia all at once. The park offers more than 80 miles of hiking trails, leading through lush forests, past historic settlements, and into wild, remote areas, allowing you to walk in the footsteps of history while surrounded by stunning mountain scenery. Kentucky State Park System provides a wealth of opportunities to connect with nature. At Cumberland Falls State Resort Park, you can witness the Niagara of the South, a magnificent 125-foot wide waterfall. On clear nights with a full moon, the mist from the falls creates a moonbow, a rare lunar rainbow that is not visible anywhere else in the Western Hemisphere. In the western part of the state, the land between the lakes National Recreation Area offers a vast expanse of forests, wetlands, and open water, perfect for boating, fishing, and wildlife viewing, including a herd of protected bison and elk that roam freely within a large enclosure. These hidden treasures and natural sanctuaries reveal the full breadth of Kentucky's wonders. From the wetlands of the Jackson Purchase in the west to the rugged mountains of the Appalachians in the east, the state is a tapestry of ecological diversity. It's a place where you can find solitude in the quiet whisper of a forest, feel the power of a cascading waterfall, or simply enjoy the peaceful panorama of a rolling country road. These are the places that form the natural soul of Kentucky, offering endless opportunities for discovery, adventure, and quiet reflection for all who take the time to seek them out. Our journey through modern Kentucky begins in Louisville. Situated on the Ohio River, Louisville has always been a city of commerce. Today, Louisville is a vibrant metropolis that has reinvented itself while embracing its heritage. A tour must include its impressive museums like the Muhammad Ali Center. The Louisville Slugger Museum pays homage to the baseball bat. The city's creative spirit is on full display in its thriving art scene and innovative culinary landscape. No visit is complete without acknowledging Churchill Downs. Louisville offers a diverse range of experiences, embodying the spirit of modern Kentucky. If Louisville is Kentucky's bustling commercial hub, then Lexington is its historic and cultural soul, situated in the heart of the Bluegrass region. It is the horse capital of the world, encircled by rolling green hills and legendary horse farms. A visit to the Kentucky Horse Park is essential. Here, explore museums dedicated to the history of the horse. Lexington's downtown is a charming blend of historic architecture and modern amenities. Beyond the city, visit the world-famous Keeneland Racecourse or explore the city's rich bourbon heritage at nearby distilleries. Lexington is proud of its traditions and warmly welcoming to all. A short drive from Lexington takes you to Shaker Village of Pleasant Hill, a restored 19th century Shaker community. It's the largest restored Shaker community in the United States, with 34 original buildings. Walk the paths of Pleasant Hill and immerse yourself in the fascinating world of the Shakers, known for their simple lifestyle and craftsmanship. Their architecture is a marvel, and their furniture is world-renowned for its minimalist elegance. Exploring the village offers a glimpse into this unique way of life. Shaker Village of Pleasant Hill is a tranquil destination, a testament to a community that left behind an enduring legacy. As our journey through Kentucky comes to a close, we're left with a powerful impression of a state deeply proud of its past. Kentucky's legacy is a complex tapestry woven from threads of frontier courage, the sorrow of Civil War, the rhythm of bluegrass, and the warmth of Bourbon. This legacy isn't just displayed in museums, it's a living force that shapes the state's identity today. Modern Kentucky is a place of exciting innovation built upon a strong foundation of history, offering a journey that is both educational and deeply moving. Our journey through Kentucky has been a remarkable expedition across time and terrain. From the depths of Mammoth Cave to the rolling hills of the Bluegrass, we've explored Kentucky's ancient past. Walking in the footsteps of pioneers, we followed the Wilderness Road. We then faced the state's defining chapter, the Civil War. Finally, we tapped our feet to bluegrass music and savored Kentucky bourbon. We felt the thunderous excitement of the Kentucky Derby. Kentucky is a rich tapestry woven with history, courage, conflict, and culture, creating a unique American story. The unbridled spirit connects every landscape and tradition. It's a palpable energy you can feel across the Commonwealth. It's the spirit of innovation and determination. This enduring spirit is evident in the warmth and hospitality of Kentuckians. It's a pride rooted in a profound connection to the land and its history. This spirit is also one of resilience. The unbridled spirit of Kentucky is its greatest treasure. Always ready to face the future with courage and hope. Our documentary is now coming to an end, but we hope that for you, a new journey is just beginning. We have tried to give you a glimpse into the heart and soul of this remarkable state, to share some of its stories and to showcase its incredible beauty. But to truly understand Kentucky, you must experience it for yourself. This is your personal invitation. Come and see the rolling green hills, follow the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and feel the electric energy of the crowd on Derby Day. Kentucky is a state that engages all of your senses and leaves a lasting impression on your spirit. Come and find your own Kentucky story. The real experience awaits you here, in a land of unbridled spirit, deep-rooted traditions, and breathtaking beauty. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Kentucky. We hope to see you here soon. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.